What's up guys, Anton here from DPR. Where are we with the Cantaloupe and Gorilla projects in 2025? If you guys are interested, let's jump right into that. Brief reminder on Gorilla and Cantaloupe. They are NBK Reptiles projects. I, as DPR, am working with NBK to promote their projects. I work with him to breed, to manage the facility, and both of our facility are in the same location. So that being said, DPR is not the owner of Gorilla or Cantaloupe, but like I said, I do the promotion for them and I have the vision to carry those genes to the next level. So that being said, Gorilla this year, 2025, was a very exciting year because we were finally able to breed some of the first best looking gorillas we made back in 2023. I'm talking about the GHI gorilla and the blackhead heteroxanthic gorilla het lavender. Unfortunately for us this year, we didn't really manage to get the results we wanted with the gorilla gene. We did manage to hit some really good looking animals, but the main struggle with the collection and those dinkers is that NBK Reptiles was mostly, for the last 20 years, a wholesale breeding. What that means is they were breeding bells, they were breeding super pastels combos, breeding for purple passions. So nothing really crazy. So they don't really have any adults with stacked genetics. So that means that when we breed those dinker projects into the collection, we don't get the results that, for example, a Kinova would get, or even someone like myself in DPR would get with those dinkers, because the adult stock is not deep enough to get that production to the next level. So we're just doing little baby steps with the projects at all times. That being said, it is a great thing for investors because in one way, you can get an animal and then get already ahead in the project if you have a decent collection. So quick reminder for anyone newer to the channel and don't know about Gorilla yet. Gorilla is a black back mutation, darkening gene. It's not as powerful as GHI, chocolate, blackhead, black pastel. It's not a dark gene per se. It has some dark effects, but it's not going to transform your combos from light to completely dark right away. The way I like to compare Gorilla is a little bit of what Lace is doing in the bright side. It'll keep good contrast, it'll boost up the gold coloration, and make a snake that aged really well into adulthood. Gorilla is kind of similar to that, where it was going to enhance the black colors. If you don't have any black color to work with, it creates a little bit of it, but it's not as strong as like blackhead, for example. But it do add some black pigments, sharpen up the blacks in a already existing black animal, and is going to get you some contrast effect on the long run. Also, Gorilla tends to have a little bit of pattern fluctuation, a little bit of like disrupted, disconnected alien heads, and some belly patterns. But that being said, right now in my hands here, I have a single gene GHI, which is super straightforward. And from the same clutch, we hatched a GHI gorilla. And this is some of the first comparative that I've shown on the channel in the past. But you can see what Gorilla is doing. It's basically tearing up the pattern a little bit more. It's removing some of the gold patterns that you have on the dorsal. The Gorilla GHI don't have as much. It's really spreading out the pattern. This animal here is a male Gorilla GHI het clown. This one is not for sale, but that animal is going to be the key ingredient for the future for us to produce some really good combo Gorilla clowns down the line. So one of the other main goals that we had with Gorilla was to introduce hypo and clown together in the project. And we knew that blackhead and GHI were really good gene to enhance what Gorilla is doing, or basically that Gorilla is enhancing blackhead and GHI. So in my collection in DPR, I have this male here that comes from Ralph Sim over in Germany. This is a blackhead GHI hypo het clown male, and I use him with as in a joint pairing with NBK Reptiles to produce some Gorilla with this line of hypo and those two incomplete dominant. And we did produce a blackhead GHI Gorilla. This one is 100% head for hypo. It did not prove a het clown. Unfortunately, we did hit two males like this, and they both did not come out as het clowns. But this is basically the plus Gorilla minus hypo version. And you can see already the pattern is fairly different as far as the dorsal and on the general alien heads. The pattern is really different. Where on the GHI blackhead, you have more of a standard loop pattern with no holes inside. Really typical pattern. The GHI blackhead gorilla has a almost hurricane-ish influence to it. It really jags up the pattern, creates a wonky pattern going across on the dorsal. Obviously, like I said, it really has a hurricane vibe to it on this one, but it has a significant disruption and a lot more black. So I do believe that when we turn this into a hypo version, we're gonna have an animal like this one, but where the black that we have highlighted on the dorsal is going to be way more spread out down on those sides, and we're going to have an overall more darker gray snake. So this jet black one here is what I believe to be a blackhead GHI het red exanthic gorilla. I do believe it's gorilla, but I'm not 100% sure. This animal is going to be for sale. I'm not going to price it as a gorilla. I'm going to price it as a possible gorilla. The main reason is that this snake is very, very dark. There's not a lot of signs that would really tell us that it's gorilla or not. And being so dark, it's almost impossible to really tell unless we had a identical combination of blackhead, GHI, and het red without the gorilla to compare. Unfortunately, in this clutch, we did not. And I don't have a lot of references with those three genes together, but that's going to be a female combo, possible gorilla, for someone to figure it out. Another cool gene that I really wanted to see in gorilla this year is the hurricane. We managed to have a clutch of blackhead het red exanthic hurricane gorilla. This one is a single gene hurricane gorilla, and honestly, I'm really pleased to the way this animal looked. It kept all the good things from both genes. So it kept the really wonky pattern with like the hooks and the cracks inside the pattern from the hurricane, and then the really dark and black dorsal from the gorilla. I really love this. I think it's a really good working platform for it. I'd like to see it with like yellow belly and maybe some cypress and whatnot. I think that this is really cool. We did also manage to make a few more combos of this. We have a single gene hurricane het red exanthic, so no gorilla in this one. And then when you add gorilla into this one, I guess you get a bit more brighter coloration as far as the pattern, but you get a significantly more reduced dorsal. So this is het red exanthic gorilla hurricane. Without the gorilla, you basically have a grayish snake. The gorilla really makes it brighter, but you have a very wide dorsal stripe, where the other one has a lot more pattern. The gorilla is more reduced. So that's definitely a cool interaction. So if we remove the non-gorilla one, these are some of the gorilla hurricanes. Those animals are posset lavender and posset clown. So when we get their shed result from these animals, some of them will be available, but I'm really happy about the way this looks. So this is a combo that we've previously hatched a lot in the past. This is a het red exanthic gorilla. This one is het for hypo. But this might be one of the best examples we've ever produced. I just love the very black dorsal. Then those sides are crisp black, awesome looking sides on this animal. And we have the typical effect where the gorilla is removing the attachment of the pattern to the belly. A beautiful example of what gorilla is doing with het red exanthic. We'll have a few of these available. You can check them out on our Morph Market. But also, guys, if you're going to Tinley Park this coming weekend, we will be vending alongside NBK Reptiles with some gorilla animals, some cantaloupe, and some of the best production that we've had this year. So if you're interested in the project, you want to check them out in person, come at the table at Tinley, come say hi, and we'll be able to showcase some crazy stuff. But if you're still there in the video, stay tuned, because now it's all about the cantaloupe. So the second part of this video is going to be about the cantaloupe project. If you haven't watched some of the previous videos on the cantaloupe, where we really dive into what is the gene doing, what's the interaction, what you can expect from that gene, go back and check those videos out. They'll be linked down in the description up there in the video. Today, I don't really want to go over what the gene does, but a little bit on what we see for the future of the cantaloupe, because this year was really a year pushing for the next coming years. It's a slow development gene for us because of how entangled it is with some of the more basic genes that we have in the collection, but we're working into adding different genes to really expand the horizon. But before diving into some of the combos of this season and some of the first visual recessive we made with the cantaloupe gene, I want to give a little bit of an update of one of the animals that I've previously shown in other videos. This is a breeder size female Enshi pastel yellow belly super cantaloupe, and she's also a het for hypo. And the crazy part about this animal is how saturated she is. It's crazy to me that you get such rich yellows. They're almost turning into orange. And you get those really clean sides. And that's really all the cantaloupe effect going at play here. We have so much richness in colors, and for an animal at this size, honestly, a super inchy pastel yellow belly would never have this color. It would turn more into like a darker brownish color. The yellows would never be as crisp as this. So definitely, I'm really excited to see some of the babies of this year going to adulthood, because the color transformation is really unreal. This animal that has a hatchling was nowhere near this quality. So guys, let's dive into the Cantaloupe 2025. Can't wait to show them all to you. So more in the type of similar projects that we've made in the past, but just to show you some example of the consistency of the results we have over the years with the similar stuff that we're producing. These are OD Enchi Cantaloupe. This one here is Super Enchi. And we have obviously the beautiful sides that Cantaloupe is giving. Even without yellow belly, we have really good flamings, really good openings, and it's plenty all over the animal. Along the video, keep that in mind. This is really just without the yellow belly. We're gonna layer on some different things, but that just goes to show that the consistency is still there. We still get the same result with those crazy flames. So the very first Cantaloupe recessive combo that we've ever produced is Cantaloupe Hypo, and we were lucky enough to hit it with some other genes on top of it. So this animal here is a Enchi Fire Calico Cantaloupe Hypo. This little female is definitely a holdback for us because we really want to push this project with the super form, where the super form is going to expand those flames potentially like crazy. Really happy with this animal. The color is really impressive. And again, like we said, I think that this animal growing into adulthood, the colors are going to transform. Hypo being a gene that transforms a lot when the animal grows. Same with Calico and same with Cantaloupe. So I think that there's a lot of potential there. If we dive into another baby from the clutch, this one here is not a visual hypo, but is the first time that we have OD, Cantaloupe, Yellow Belly, and Calico involved all together. This one is also with Enchi on top. So what a beautiful animal to work into the project. This snake is het for hypo. We did the genetic testing on it, and now we know for a fact that this male is het for hypo. And the crazy part is we have some weird paradox, like yellowish paradox across the animal. And that really goes to show the true color, the true saturation of orange that you have with the contrast of those paradox. We got really lucky with that clutch because we not only hatched some of our first Calico Cantaloupe hypos, we made some crazy good looking ones, but we also made the absolute holy grail from the clutch. So basically this snake here is the all gener. So every single gene that we had in the pairing. This is a Super Enchi Orange Dream Calico Cantaloupe Yellow Belly Hypo. A crazy looking snake. The saturation of colors on those sides, on the dorsal, is mesmerizing. Beautiful crisscross pattern going everywhere. So if we compare those two snakes, the non-hypo version, so the one in front, is basically only one dose of Enchi and no hypo. So if you double up the Enchi and you add hypo, you're gonna get the second animal, which both of them are absolutely crazy. Love these animals, love this project. Can't wait to see basically what we add into it later on. So this snake here, we previously in different videos and today we talked about how Cantaloupe affects the flame of the animal, especially paired with Yellow Belly. Now here we have one of the best examples we've ever made of the Super Cantaloupe with Yellow Belly. This snake here is a Pastel Enchi Yellow Belly Super Cantaloupe, and look at those insane flames on the animal. This is really epic to us because it really just goes to show how great it can impact some simple genes like Pastel Enchi and Yellow Belly. And that also tails to what I was saying earlier, where a lot of the Cantaloupe stuff that we've been producing is always with some of the same genes, because a lot of the animals in NBK's collection are, you know, lower end animals that were from a more of a wholesale breeding stock. So it was quite hard to get different genes, especially more sought after genes, into this project. But we're slowly getting into it. And to us, I think personally, the way I see it, Cantaloupe, I really want to see it in two pattern recessive the most. First is going to be puzzle. I think that those flames are going to translate so well into puzzle. And looking at how great the Calico Cantaloupe Hypo looks, I think that it will definitely look good in puzzle. But then the next one, and I think that might be one of the best ones for this project, is the zebra. I think that if you look at those flames and the way it holds great to the yellow of the pastel, I think that it's everything that we want to have in a zebra. a great banded looking animal. Zebra is great with pastel, and zebra has that crisscross pattern on the dorsal. So if you pair those two together, you have those insane flame and the crisscross pattern on the dorsal. I think Cantaloupe Zebra could be one of the best genes to work in this project. So earlier this year, we hatched those two females from a Posset Zebra clutch. Both of them proved out to be het for zebra, and they came from a super cantaloupe male, so we know for a fact these are cantaloupe. And by looking at how they age, they definitely are. They are Enchi Firefly cantaloupe, and then with yellow belly on top. Both 100% het for zebra, both females. We don't yet have a male in the Zebra Calico project, but these are going to be females for the future. Cantaloupe and fire, they tend to really make a whitish snake. The black really starts to fade, so hopefully we can have some animals with and without it, because I think that fire is maybe a little too powerful paired with cantaloupe. But these two animals are going to be key elements for the future, so hopefully we can make a like OD Calico yellow belly cantaloupe het zebra for the future. So cantaloupe is definitely one of the genes that we progressively some better and better results each year growing on with this project. We're gonna have some of those animals next weekend at the Tinley Expo. I'm vending under DPR, and we'll have the snakes from NBK Reptiles, so Gorilla and Cantaloupe stuff, as well at the booth. So if you guys are at the show and want to see some of those animals in person, come join us, come check out our Dinker projects, either Gorilla or Cantaloupe. We'll have some animals on display, some animals for sale as well, and we'll be running on some really good sales at the show. So if you're potentially interested in the project, come check them out and go take a look at the available animals we have. They're also on Morph Market right now under NBK and DPR, so just go into Gorilla trait or Cantaloupe trait to see the whole mix of the different animals that we have. If you're interested in anything that we have on Morph Market prior to us going to Tinley, let us know, because this video is going to air before we pack to go to the show. So if you're going to the show next weekend at Tinley, you see anything, either Gorilla or Cantaloupe or something not related to any of those, but either from DPR or from NBK, send me a message. Let's try to figure something out, and we'll do some really good deals if you pick up the animals in Tinley, and we'll do free shipping as well. So guys, be sure to check out our available animals on Morph Market. Send me a DM if you want to have a exclusive list of Cantaloupe and Gorilla list of animals for sale. Follow us on YouTube and Instagram, and we'll see you soon on YouTube. And if you guys are coming to Tinley, we'll see you there. Cheers.